Hello again. Relearn Theme 8 Listening Time. Answer. Do you learn first aid at school? Do you really learn first aid at school? I don't think so. Maybe in biology lessons you learn first aid. What is first aid? First aid. First aid, as you can understand from the word itself, the aid given first. Who is the aid given to? To any person suffering from an illness, maybe serious or minor, or injury, So we're going to hear a dialogue between a woman and a doctor, and we're going to find an answer. What should we do when there is bleeding? What is bleeding? Blood, Blood is the noun form and bleeding is the verb. Let's listen.
Doctor, can you advise us about emergencies? Most of us don't know what to do. What should we do?
First of all, dial 112 if there is an emergency situation. We have to send an ambulance and doctors have to give emergency treatment to the patient.
So, if there is an emergency, we must call the ambulance.
Yes. The second rule is, stay calm. If you can't stay calm, you mustn't help. Then you can start CPR.
I think it is compressing the chest.
That is cardiopulmonary resuscitation. We do it when the heart stops pumping. Emergency doctors can tell you what to do on the phone.
What must we do if a person faints?
When someone faints, first of all, check if that person is still breathing. Secondly, alert medical personnel. And then position the person properly. If someone feels ill or has pain in his or her abdomen, you should dial 112 too. The problem can be serious. If someone grabs his or her chest and says, "My chest hurts," you should think it's a heart attack. Dial 112. Then check breathing. If she is not breathing, start CPR.
I understand. What about bleeding?
When there is bleeding, you should stop bleeding first. If someone gets a cut in his or her hand, you should put a piece of cloth or tissue on it. When it stops bleeding, you'd better apply antibiotic cream on it and cover with a bandage.
Falling?
If someone falls and there is a change in function, you must visit the emergency department.
Thank you, Doctor. You've been very helpful.
Yes. Probably you found the answer. What should we do when there is bleeding? If there's a cut, if a part of our body is bleeding, what should we do? We should stop bleeding first. If someone gets a cut in their hand, you should put a piece of cloth and tissue on it and press it to stop bleeding. Note, both must and have to. These are modals, express obligations and prohibitions. Obligations show what you are obliged to do, what you must, what you have to, and prohibitions, that is forbidden. Must expresses that the obligation comes from the speaker and the speaker's feelings. When you hear must, you understand that speaker also expresses his or her opinion. Have to mainly expresses obligations which come from outside of the speaker, maybe rules and regulations, laws. You must hand in your homework on Tuesday. It's necessary, and the speaker says you must. Speaker believes it's necessary for you to hand in your homework on Tuesday. I must call my dad tonight. I think it's necessary. This expresses my opinion. You have to come. Well, my feeling is not important. My opinion is not expressed here, but you have to come. It's an obligation. There is a rule. For example, you have to come to school. You're a student, and it's your duty to come to school. This is not about me. This has nothing to do with me. Do I have to wear a tie? Is it an obligation to wear a tie to school, for example? Another model is had better. I'd better go now. I had better go now. I'd better go now. I think I should go now. I should go. If I don't go, there'll be something unpleasant. She'd better get here soon, or she'll miss the opening ceremony. Or shows something will happen, something unwanted, something bad will happen if you don't get here soon. You'd better not tell her about the accident. You shouldn't tell her about the accident.